What's up, Metal Summoners? It is so super great to see you guys as always on this special pop-up Thursday edition of the Metal Summit. Angel and I always appreciate you guys being understanding and rocking out. You know, I pulled a little bit of a request at the to my colleagues here in between Angel and Steve because Till from Ramstein came to town last night, and I was like, oh, on a Wednesday. Of course, it would have to be a Wednesday. Hey, guys, I really want to cover this show. Let's do Thursday. And the guys are like, game on. Absolutely. So that's how it was. Myself and Megan went and had a good time at Till last night. But we are all about tonight. We've got paisans. We've got pizza. We've got pasta because we've got TMS alumnus rejoining us. We've got Tyler Maltese, Italian Blood, Dead End Lane. Welcome back, brother. Thanks so much for being down.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Always good to fucking talk. So
absolutely, man, for sure, 100%. Well, first and foremost, man, fill us in. How's everything going with Italian Blood? How's everything going with Dead End Lane? And what do you got going on right now?
So Italian Blood is doing amazing. We actually just have an online release last night. It's called the Jersey Shore. So it's a couple songs because it Jersey Shore Day was a couple days ago. It's an unofficial holiday, of course, but so we have two songs on our Bandcamp that'll be on Spotify soon. We got GTL, obviously, and then Italians on a Friday. So it's all about essentially being a Guido at the Jersey Shore, you know, and us just acting like a bunch of dumbasses. So yeah, that's coming out. We also have a special little parody album coming out.
Okay.
Mid-October. It's going to be called "It's All About the Gabagool," GHOUL. So we do a couple parodies of a couple Misfit songs. So we make them a little more Italian, if that's even possible. So.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, anybody who's familiar with Jersey Shore and stuff, they all know about that Jim Tan laundry, dude.
Yep.
Absolutely, man. So we had you and all of the guys on the show the first time that you were able to come on, and it was in like the early time of Italian Blood and everything.
Yes.
Refresh all the Metal Summoners and all of the other fans as well. Like, what was it? Because Dead End Lane's been established in the punk scene for now quite a while. You and Aaron have been spearheading that band for a long time. What was it about Italian Blood? What was it about that side of your like creative brain where you're the guitar player in Dead End Lane, but you're the front man in Italian Blood?
So I was looking for a second band because I was trying to get out more. So with Dead End Lane, we knew we had sort of a once a month kind of show like availability, and I was looking for more stuff. So I was trying to come up with some other bands. I jammed with this kind of like heavy hardcore band for a little bit that I was friends with, but I wanted something that was my own. And I was just thinking, geez, man, like I got all these crazy Italian stories, and then Sopranos. I was watching those again, and I was like, there's no Italian band, there's no Guido band, there's no Sopranos band. So I decided to kind of start it. Took a little while to find some people. A lot of people, a lot of people would get back to my ads and be like, "Is this a real thing?" And so I was like, "Fucking joking." I was like, "No." Well, yes, it is really. And I was like, "But so yeah, so we got it going. We played for about a year and a half until COVID hit, and then we kind of had to, gain our traction back about 2 years ago, and we've had a banger year. We just played a huge show with Jason's in West Virginia. Had a really big auto show with Pie Tasters. We've had pretty good shows in Long Island area, stuff like that, and we got a bunch of cool shows going up in the next few months too. So
that's awesome, man, for sure. And when it came to like putting things together, obviously, I mean, we all know that being Italian, that you must be a wooden spoon survivor. But
yep.
he's wearing that shirt.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Megan loves that shirt, dude.
I'm one too.
But
yeah. I actually got a big wooden spoon behind me. I don't know if you can see it. It's see right there?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That's awesome, brother. When
Yeah.
it came to like, something like that, especially when it came to the the punk scene, you know, punk's, general history hasn't always been like super heavy when it came to like, ethnic type bands that really put like, heritage as like a forefront type thing. Of course, people's histories and where they come from have always been very intertwined, but as far as putting like full on, ethnic designs and terminology and stuff into the music, it's not something that's been excessively dabbled on. So I've always
Yeah.
found that to be like really cool about where you took this band.
Yeah, Dropkick Murphys, kind of one of the only bands that really, kind of did it, started it, and they
Yeah.
eventually blew up. So I was like, we don't really have that sector. There isn't a lot of stuff, or even if it is, you might see it on a shirt like Irish Pride, from Mexico, but they don't really get into like the nitty. So for Italians, we got our own pride, our own paranoias, our own craziness, but then there's been a lot of movies, a lot of shows, so it's easy to go that way. And then, in addition, it's a lot of sarcasm. So I mean, we take ourselves very seriously with our schedule and stuff like that. But this is all for fun. We're all trying to have fun with this as much as possible, um, and it's kind of going from there. If not, I would just be like any other acoustic guy going up there and playing Dean Martin and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
we're obviously punk rocks. We want to make it a little more fun. We get a little crazy, we get a little funny, we get sort of stuff the audience. So
Absolutely, man, for sure. When it comes to the fans or anybody that is or isn't familiar with all some of the merch and stuff that you've done, what other than of course the historical references of it, what's a little bit of the backstory behind your pizza skull and cannolis?
yeah, we saw something kind of similar, and we were looking for like sort of like the perfect blend. So we got a guy, he's got a pizza mohawk head, and then we kind of gave him a cross. So it was gonna be wooden spoons, but it just looked a little weird, the artwork.
Mhm.
So Aaron instead made a cannolis, and it just looked a little more natural. So
Nice.
we got those. We just sold out of our second batch, and then we actually have a new shirt, which is the backwards Adidas, but instead of white, it's green, white, and red. So
Nice.
it's pretty fucking badass, man. Uh,
Absolutely, man, for
yeah.
sure. And so let's steer it in a little bit into talking about Dead End Lane and how
Yes.
everything's going with what you've got going on with Dead End Lane right now.
So Dead Land's been great. The last 6 months have been awesome. And I mean, it's always fun, but we had about 2 years where things were a little choppy because just with personal stuff, like in the band, it wasn't anything, intense or anything. Just schedules were extremely difficult. So we finally are at a place where we're at a little more consistency, and it's been great because we've been able to, just go. We've we somehow have stayed every show we've had scheduled for the last 2 years, which is almost impossible with the stuff that's happened. I think Italian was missed like 5 shows in the last couple of years. But we've got a whole bunch of new songs that we've been able to play now live. We got an EP of stuff half recorded, and we're probably going to record these new songs as well. We unfortunately, with all of the personal issues with scheduling, it took all of our studio work, all hit the back burner. So
Yeah.
we haven't been able to put anything else since post COVID. So we have just like a shitload of material that I'd say is going to come out next year. So that's
Nice.
awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. And before I kick it over to Angel, one of the things that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
and I and Aaron had talked about at one point when we did our um, the first interview that the three of us ever did together is one of the things that's always been very cool that Dead End Lane has performed at on a regularity is the 100 Nights of Elvis. And so
Yes.
I'd love to revisit that and how you got
Okay.
involved in that event.
Yeah. So you've actually missed the last one. We're going to miss this year too, just because our schedule's gotten busier, which is great for us. But I think I lost my, hold on a second. Crap. Did I lose my? Yeah. All right. Can you guys hear me at all? Okay, I lost audio for you guys.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me right now, Tyler?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because we can still hear you just fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I lost my headphones. That's all. So, yeah. So, my parents actually went to it, and they were like, "You got to check out this, like the show. It's Elvis's, and they're like, you can't call them impersonators. They're like, they are tribute artists." And I was like, okay, that was the only thing they told me. And it was at the Lithuanian Hall, which if you haven't gone, it's just this like old hall, 3-story hall in Baltimore, like enormous place. And after the first year we went, I was like, I wonder if they would, if they would let us play here, because Aaron, Aaron and I are into like old school doo-wop and Motown and stuff like that, so we're kind of familiar with the stuff anyway. And we talked to the manager, and like, yeah, you guys can play. And it was great, man. Like we played, I think 5 years in a row. So always an awesome time. All the people are super cool, and super into it. And I think they liked us because we were younger. Because I mean, it was mostly older and probably middle-aged people. I know like a ska band joined like a couple years into it, so we had like a few other people, but we were just rocking out, man, and they liked it. There's like a bunch of old, rockers, a bunch of old hippies that really like into just having a good time and stuff like that. I do remember the first time we got up there though.
I would not want to read tonight.
I had all my gear, and it's crazy, man. They're like, you've got 7 minutes to like switch over and play a song or two, and I was like, oh shit. So our first year was a little wild, and they kind of went easy on us. But I bring all my gear, and I was like, where do I plug in my head? And they're like, what's your head? And I was like, what? So they had combo amps, and like that wasn't shared, so it was a total mess. So I think the first time, our first set of the 2 that we played that year, I played completely clean, and I was like, dude, when I hit, like, as soon as I strummed that, I had no idea what was coming out of that motherfucker. I was like, I pray to God this doesn't sound like absolute dog shit, and like it worked. but every other set, every other room that we did, I always checked out the gear first, because that's just not something they were kind of used to. It was like you were going back in time and playing like, like the Back to the Future dance with the back, with all that kind of stuff they had at the time. So that was good. It's always a good time, man. And it's actually a benefit for like Hopkins for cancer. So it's it's got some depth as well. So
Absolutely, for sure. How did you with an event like that? How did you guys decide on what songs that you were going to play? Were you like with multiple people performing at that show? They're obviously probably not going to want songs duplicated. Are you able to pitch the songs you would like to play, and they can let you know if they're taken or not, or do they kind of get assigned for you?
So if you play the ballroom, they give you a list, and it's kind of first come, first serve. You got to email a song or two, and as soon as somebody takes a song, that's it. You can't do a duplicate. But then if you play any of the other rooms, they kind of let you do what you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, because if it was me, I'd be like, I need to be in whatever room I need to be in order to play, Falling in Love with You again. Like it's like
right.
It's just the way it has to be. That's the song that I'm going to need to be able to play. And if I lose it on the ballroom, then so be it. But then whatever other room you stick me in for the follow-up set, that's one of the songs I need to be able to do. Angel, my good man, let's kick it over to you, my friend.
I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with us again.
Oh yeah, man. Always a good time.
Congrats on the new music.
Yeah.
Let me get to Brian, because Brian has a weird question.
Of course. Yeah.
Don't know the name of the bassist, but did he work for the toll facilities?
His name is Josh, and I don't believe so. Yeah, I don't think he has, but I can ask. But I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to read what this shit says. It's on my phone. I can't read it. What does it say?
Oh, go ahead, Angel.
No, unfortunately, only got to see band once, a
Okay.
Sparta show with a band I won't mention.
That show was that was a rough one, man. It was not well planned, and that was the only time we played Sparrows Point. So yeah, it was one for the books. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the question is, again, I'm not. I mean, can I ask this question, Jay, about Ram's Head Live?
His genetic stuff.
What's going on?
Did you hear? Did that? I think you're getting a little choppy, Angel.
Oh, hold on one second. Just want to get your thoughts about the news about Ram's Head Live.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people that work for AEG, so I hadn't heard about this.
Dad.
But you know, I just hope something
She's a female.
comes up there that has shows
Her dad's genetic.
and continues it. We actually played there twice back in the day. You know, it wasn't anything special, but it was an awesome place to play. I saw, like everybody, a bunch of cool shows there. So hopefully they keep it going, and you know, they give it a little better you know, flavor and music. So yeah.
So it's hard to believe, but with 2024 winding down, we were saying that. What are the plans for the rest of the year going into 2025?
Yeah. So Italian Blood's got an EP coming out in a month. Plan is for you know, Dead and Lane to have at least a couple releases next year. Each band's got a bunch of shows coming up. So, you know, I travel a bit more in Italian Blood. So we got a show at Meat Locker in October, a local show here at the Depot on the 12th, which is a big Halloween show. Let's see, we got November, we'll be in Richmond with Chupacabra, and then Long Island, and then Skid Row Garage to end the year in December. Then Dead End Lane's got Skid Row Garage and another show that is about to be announced that I can't say anything about.
No problem.
But it's going to be a good one. So, yeah, you know, always staying busy with the bands, always staying busy in the fall, especially. So, always trying to record more. So, you know, Dead End Lane's got a crap load of stuff we hope to get out next year. And Italian Blood's always getting stuff out. Hopefully we'll continue our Pi Day release, which would be the third year in a rowish. So for March 14th. So yeah, you know, we'll see what happens.
And Brian wants to know, are the mosh pits at Elvis tributes good?
This guy has been wanting to talk, so all right, here you go. Come on. Okay, y'all.
Hold on.
These cats, man, every time I show them the camera, and then they get nothing. So anyway, mosh pits, the Elvis show. Yeah, that's not happening, man. So, but yeah, you know, they dance, you know. It's old school dancing, but there's no mosh pit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I mean, I guess because of accidents and things like that. So when it comes to set list, what's the toughest challenge about putting the set list together for a show? Even the show where it's like 45 minutes you're playing compared to like an hour and a half. What's the takes of it?
Yeah, I mean, for punk bands, we typically just get half hour. So every once in a while we get like 45 minutes if it's a certain type of show. So for us, we just kind of go with what kind of works. We kind of change it up every couple months, you know, because we want to get like a bit of a rhythm, you know, with the set list, and then you know, try to work in new songs. So you base on the new songs, you know, kind of write stuff that is going to work. We don't want to have like, you know, a ton of slow songs in the set or something like that. So and then for Italian Blood, there's certain places that we know that certain songs are going to probably rumble. So, there's a few venues that want to hear certain songs, so we kind of keep that in mind.
Back up to Jay.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, Tyler, one of the things that I also think is like super cool is you had mentioned that you and Aaron are big fans of, doo-wop and Motown and stuff like that. And one of the performers that you've seen live that I always thought was really cool, because I'm a fan as well, is Dion. And most people are gonna know them from the song "Keep Away from Sue." And so I just wanted to ask, like, how was it seeing like something like that? And are there anything from those type of shows that you take away from that might work in any way for either Italian Blood or for Dead End Lane, even if it's not musically, being that it's two different types of like music, but just when it comes to like performing or style or lyrical phrasing or stuff?
I mean, the one thing about whenever you see any of those bands that are still going, especially the ones that are popular, because there's a whole circuit of those bands that are playing, and honestly, over the course of the next 20 years, you'll probably see that, with the music from like the 70s and 80s and 90s, where these bands are the old circuit now. But one is that these bands are so tight, it's utterly ridiculous. Like they, Dion's in his 80s. Who knows how much longer he's got to perform. Beach Boys, stuff like that. They're just on their game, man. And they were these like originators. So when you see them do like the big endings, they did this like 60 years ago. And also the vocals, like, some of the voices change a little bit, but their harmonies and like the pitch they hit and how naturally they do it, you don't really hear that anymore. Especially from like a rock band or a band in general, you don't hear like this huge wall of sound like live, and all these dudes hitting all these different notes. So we don't really have that ability. I don't. Erin can sing her ass off. So hopefully she's got hopefully like a few things in the works where she's doing some stuff with some other bands, and there's a couple people that can sing well, so that'd be cool. But just being tight. Just kind of taking how they go in and out of songs and just the preparation, because they can just, continue to do it at this age. It just kind of blows you away too, that they are able to keep it current, even if the songs aren't, because it's a whole new world, man. It's like a time warp from where they came from. So, just always be in your game, always practice, always keep it real. So, yeah.
Absolutely, man, for sure. Hey, what's up there, Shad? Shout out to the Mad Shad channel who's watching right now, who put together our intro. And shout out to TMS alumni and our boy DK Ravel from Kickin' Valentina. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We appreciate you so much. So, hey, Tyler, so let's take it back a little bit with like you. What got you into like guitar playing? What got you into like punk rock in particular, especially being that, you've got these like old school soul, these old school like musical influences?
Yeah, punk, man. It was just it was a little more popular, 30 years ago. It was all over MTV, all over the radio. And that kind of got people into it. So, it was just something different, something more. I didn't like really too much alternative music. I like some, but it wasn't. I need a little more bite. And then I do like some metal. That's why I'm on the show. But I like a little more melody. I saw like a ton of metal shows back in the day. But punk just gave me a little more, a bit more of a voice. Was always kind of attracted to the hardcore elements, but also the melodies in some bands. It probably stems from being a fan of the Beach Boys and all that shit.
Yeah.
But and then just hanging out with punkers, man. There's a little more edge, a little more fun, a little more color, a little more something new. That was anytime I was hanging out with people in punk rock, and that extends to any alternative music, any underground music. You're always going to get, in my opinion, different people, a little more fun. I'm not a guy that stays home and watches primetime shows at 8 o'clock at night, man, or goes out to dinner, That's not my thing, man. So I found out, these people were a bit more my style. So
Absolutely, for sure, man. And something else that's definitely, gotten legs under it and has become so much more of a thing from not only the first time that you were on this show, but also definitely came after the three of us had done our initial interview, is the I-95 Punk and Ska Festival.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that. I mean, you're an organizer of that event. It's happened a few times now, and talk a little bit about like the history of that and like what you're always looking to achieve with those lineups.
So yeah, I help out with the label that is called Liberty or Death Records. They're like sort of punk and oi label. So they wanted to do a festival, and we just kind of did our thing for a few days a year ago, and then I kind of just brought it down to one day earlier in June, and just put together like a big show with punk and ska bands. So it was fun. It's a lot of work though. So always trying to bring people together and spread our music out there as well. So I'll try to do a show every year and kind of see where it goes. It's great. It's also a lot of money.
Yeah.
So when you move, kind of like I can't do 3 days. Yeah, anything I can do to kind of get some fun into the punk scene, and it's always great playing a place like Audubon. So.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, man. And and also you also have like the the Oi compilation records that you've been working on too. Getting collections of various punk bands to contribute to those records and get their music out there. Talk a little bit about how those records have like come about and done, and what do you look for criteria? And has there been anybody that you've been able to get to contribute to those records that was like a surprise to you, or that you were particularly excited to get?
So yeah, that started off during quarantine, and that kind of led me to actually start working for the label because I met those guys, through those efforts, and it was just to get music out during the quarantine, and then added a couple other things, something for the sidebar, and then as far as that, we've gotten some cool bands on like Hub City Stompers, band we met and stuff like that. In the Oi world, there's been a bunch of bands that are always down to put some stuff, and we got one coming out in 2 months, and we got a couple of cool bands that are going to be on this one too that were not expected, but can't announce that quite yet. But
Sure.
Yeah, anybody that's cool that is all about the community and has good music, we're always interested, and then kind of go from there.
Absolutely, for sure. And one more thing from me in this segment before I kick it back over to Angel, just something that I'm interested to hear your take on, because I think with you being involved in the scene so much, your opinion on this is very validated for it. So especially with something like punk rock, like bands, musicians, their histories, their beliefs are always very, very intertwined with their music, how they put out their thoughts and what opinions they give on certain things. We've had controversial figures in the scene in all kind of various different ways. How do you look at musicians, especially in punk, which is really known for being very raw and sticking to your guns and really owning your pedestal? How do you look at musicians in the scene when it comes to what you think is best to keep as just kind of a personal belief, as opposed to really putting it out there for the general populace, knowing that there might not be fans that see things your way or believe in what you believe in?
So in punk, you kind of expect a bit of an edge, like a bit of some vocal thoughts and beliefs. So, but I think people got to be realistic too. So if you're a little extreme, you're going to start to ruffle some feathers. People might not want to deal with you. The one thing for me is I don't get into politics in general, and I definitely don't post about it. I feel you can alienate some people.
Yeah.
It's an election year, so people are really on edge right now.
So, I didn't actually even think about that when I was forming that question.
Yeah. So, but we expect in punk and metal and hardcore and all that stuff, man. Like, you got people that are actually living. You got people that are going to shows, and maybe not the best area. So, and we got some thoughts about stuff. So you're gonna hear it. As long as I don't hear too much of it on our sites, I'm good. Mm-hmm. So you want to get into like religion and politics, great, but don't put it on a site that I'm operating, because I just don't want to hear it, man. I just want to make sure it's all about the music.
Yeah.
You also got to realize people aren't gonna have the same thought. So if someone likes something that's cool, if they talk a little shit, I understand. But if what they're doing isn't bothering me and it's not heinous, then that's cool. Whatever. So.
Yeah. No, I definitely get you on that, because anybody who's familiar with me, the stuff that like I'm into when it comes to punk and stuff like that, they know where my loyalties lie. They know that the bands I'm into, they know that there's a couple of like people that I guess you would call like controversy figures that I am still a fan of and stuff, not only for just being a fan of their music, but also because there are also people that have ruffled feathers based on their personal beliefs with that musician also still being a personal friend of mine who frankly has never done wrong to me. And I've had conversations with them, as well as conversations with, their manager at one point, who understands where I'm coming from. Was like, hey, it's one thing to be this guy because this is your real beliefs, but keep that for your personal situation. Make a page if you need to that you have a lock on, that you only allow people to watch or be friends with. If that's what you're going to post, that are like-minded individuals. You got to understand that when you're, out in the public, when you have, especially with that persona, whether, you're a casual figure in the scene or even somebody up to like an elite figure who's, got a lot of years behind him and stuff like that. There's definitely a lot of things to keep in mind about like what's the proper way to tread to, to still stand by your beliefs, but, still tread a little lightly to alienate as little as possible.
Yeah.
100% for sure. Angel, let's kick it back over to you, my friend. Hey, Tyler, I don't know if you can see us on your end, but you did go black, but we can, there you go.
Black.
We got you, man. No worries. Right back up to you, Angel.
Cool.
I'm curious, Brian's comment. Punk has died in that aspect. What aspect are you talking about with punk rock?
I'm not sure what he's talking about.
I have no clue. But he also had a good question. It's his favorite question. Bring back a musician from the dead, but you have to sacrifice a modern musician. Who comes and goes?
Modern musicians. Oh boy, man. Jeez. There's a bunch, so that's what I'm thinking. I mean, Elvis got the shaft, so it'd be cool to see him come back. I don't know. Taking a left turn, I think everyone in the world would love to see Cliff Burton come back. But it's not really punk rock. But yeah,
he was a Misfits fan.
No, big time. Yeah. So. And then as far as sacrifice, Lars Ulrich would be an easy one, to send back, or Morrissey. So Taylor Swift, so.
No, man, for sure. Definitely on that. Angel, we're going to keep it with you, but fans, I also want to let you guys know that I didn't address this earlier, which is on me. I should have let you guys know. We do have Tyler on limited time tonight because he has some other things he needs to take care of. So we definitely want to make sure that we're always respecting the guest time. So it is going to be last call for alcohol. don't be afraid to put your comments in, any other questions and stuff like that. But I did want to let you guys know that unfortunately we do have to run the last call a little earlier than normal, just to respect Tyler's time. So that's on me, fans, for not letting you guys know about that a little bit earlier. But we do have Tyler for a little bit longer, but just wanted to let you guys know on that. Go ahead.
I got a couple minutes, but thank you guys so much for having me. It's been great, and next time, hopefully, I can definitely talk for a lot longer. So, yep.
We totally understand that there's various schedules and stuff, and Aaron's always welcome. The bands are always welcome, so we can always definitely make sure that's definitely a thing for sure. But go ahead, Angel.
Going into your music catalog, do you have leftover songs that may or may not be released for either a special edition or anything like that?
Yeah, both bands. So we got Italian Blood's got a bunch of stuff that has been recorded that we're going to release at some point next year, and then we have so many songs we haven't really gotten to for Dead End Lane. So it's kind of a combination of both. We have old songs we have to finish, new songs we have to record, and then at least an album's worth of stuff that Aaron and I have jammed on and have kind of draft recordings, but stuff we got to bring to the band. So it was Italian Blood, the release we put out last night. The second song is something we had a couple years ago that we started playing again. So that was one that we kind of brought back because we didn't have an opportunity to play it live because of COVID. So.
And brings this question up from Brian. What's the weirdest thing you've seen while on stage?
The weirdest? Jeez. I think the weirdest thing, man. I mean, people beating the shit out of each other, with pizza boxes is always something amazing. It happens a lot at our shows, but it's obviously unusual. Man, I'm drawing a blank otherwise. I've seen a lot of stuff off the stage. But, yeah. A lot of cool shit. But the Misfit show, they had someone in a wheelchair who they essentially got up on, and did like a crowd surf. That was probably one of the coolest things I've seen. So.
No, that's always awesome.
Yeah. So I probably got time for one more question, and then I'm gonna roll.
Yeah.
But,
no worries.
I'll
I got Angel. Do we have anything from the fans? Because I got one more thing I can hit Tyler with.
Just this question for Brian. What advice would you? Or she could answer that question next time.
Oh, it's all good.
So Aaron is not available right now, but for female musicians, so I will say, just get yourself out there. Don't hold yourself back or think there's any barriers. I've actually been in charge of releasing numerous compilations that all feature a band with at least one female in it. So I'm all about the cause. We played a lot of shows like that. So there is support. If you think there is not, there's always going to be people that act stupid, but just ignore them and find people that are cool and keep playing with them. So there's a lot more females in music, a lot of all-female bands. Just meet people, pick up a mic, drumsticks or some strings, and just give it a shot. Keep going.
Nice. Here, Tyler, I'll squish this together as one statement / question for you, and then we'll wrap everything up. Right after you answer the question, bang out your socials, bro, and we'll cut you loose so that way we can keep you on schedule. So first and foremost, when it comes to punk rock, split EPs have always been like a history, or split singles where two bands would get together and cover each other's songs. I think that'd be actually kind of a cool thing for maybe you to consider with Dead End Lane and Italian Blood, because I think it would be kind of fun to listen to Aaron singing an Italian Blood song. And I just kind of think that would be pretty cool. And personally, I think it would be hilarious to hear you and Italian Blood singing Duck Lips personally. And the question is, are we all getting together for Blitzkid in 2 weeks?
I hope so, man. So I got a crazy schedule in that week. So I'm going to try to do it. I have a show the evening before. I got a bunch of stuff going on that week, and then again that weekend. So it's on my radar, but I don't know if I can do it. It's just the curse of the pie shop, man. Like,
Yeah, I know. We had to go to Philly.
Yeah, I did, and that was awesome, man.
Yeah,
that was an amazing show. So I was glad I got to see him.
You were just happy you got Pumpkin Patch Murders.
Yes. Yeah. All these years.
Absolutely, brother. Tyler, thank you so much, brother. I love you, man. You're my bro. I appreciate you. Where can Dead End Lane and Italian Blood be found?
Okay, so both bands, we have essentially all the main sites: Spotify, Instagram, Facebook. We've got some TikTok action, and then Bandcamp. And those are our main sites. So again, I want to thank both of you guys for having an awesome show. And congrats for keep going all these years. Always happy to come back. It's always a great time. I definitely want to get some of the boys and Aaron back on, and Jay. We absolutely have to get together soon. So
yes.
There's a movie that's called Totally Killing, in which the guy looks like me. And then we just saw a movie last night. It's called Cherry Falls. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
In that movie, the killer looks like you. So if we watch both together, we can have a night of watching each other kill all these other people together. So
let's do it. Megan and I will come over for dinner, and we'll just make a thing out of it.
Yeah, man. Sweet.
Sounds great. And even the Crypt Keeper approves. I appreciate you, Tyler. We'll talk soon, brother.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Hi, Tyler. Tell Aaron I said hi.
Later. Metal Summoners, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys as always. Thank you so much for tuning in, rocking out with us, having a cool little punk rock episode tonight. Next week has been confirmed, and since we hit you with a little bit of a short episode today, Angel and I will gift you with the knowledge that next week is a returning TMS alumnus that we had on recently. We're very excited that they hit us up again, wanting to come back on to talk about what they have going on. And it was great conversation then. It's going to be great conversation now. So next week is a returning TMS alumnus band. We are very excited to have them back on, and the guest announcement will come out very promptly this weekend. I will guarantee you that. I got you guys covered on that. So we appreciate you guys so much. Make sure that you're checking out the Mad Shad channel on YouTube. Again, he did our intro. Shad, thank you so much for banging that out for us. We appreciate it so much. So give him a like and a follow. Thank you so much to our Metal Summoners that tune in every week. Guys like Brian, DK Ravel from Kickin' Valentina. We appreciate those guys rocking out with us and being so loyal and just so awesome. And make sure that you guys are following the Metal Summit on Facebook and YouTube in particular, because that's where you just saw Tyler. That's where you're looking at me and Angel right now. And also make sure that you're following the Instagram page as well, because that's where the initial announcements come out at, is right there. Angel can be found on Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram. You can also find him on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram at salem.vampire. And make sure that you're following all of the various socials, like I said, for TMS. We got a lot of cool things coming. Angel and I and Megan are going across country soon. We're really, really excited to do that. At the end of November, we're going to be hosting a show for a TMS alumnus. So we'll be hosting a show across the country for TMS alumnus KV. We will be hosting a more local show for TMS alumnus Kix's Ronnie Younkins. We are very excited about that. We will get into much more detail as we get a little bit closer to those dates. But KV will be at the Whiskey A Go-Go in LA on November 7th and November 22nd at Rams Head Annapolis in Annapolis, Maryland. Will be the Blues Vulture show with Ronnie Younkins. But we got so much stuff that's going on. We're getting into spooky season, so we got also a lot of fun guests coming up for you guys, as always. And also make sure that you're supporting Psycho Steve and everything that he's doing. He's got the Real Psycho Steve page on Instagram, as well as PsychoStevePresents.com, his personal website. But we appreciate you guys so much. You guys have yourselves a great rest of your evening. Angel and I are going to relax a little bit and spend time with our loved ones. And we will see you guys in a week for a brand new episode of the Metal Summit. And we will have that guest announcement, like I said, out promptly over the weekend. Take care, be good to each other, and have yourselves an absolutely fantastic weekend. We love you. As always, you've been watching the Metal Summit.